welcome and thank you for joining us for Season 5, Episode 4 of Scotia Live. My name is Scotia Johnson-Vaughan and I'm Director for SME Professional Partnerships at Scotiabank. Today we have a very exciting conversation for you. We're talking about how do you level up your business using digital sales. So Scotiabank, we recently launched some series of exciting e-commerce solutions, and that's really geared to help SMEs, small, medium, and large companies to take their businesses to the world and, of course, leaving no customers unturned. And so today with me, I have three wonderful gentlemen. To my left, I have Philip Royal, and he is the Assistant Manager for Global Transaction Implementation for Assistant Manager Implementation Global Banking Transaction at Scotiabank. And next to him, we have Chris Carlo Tucker, and he's the CEO of Island Boy Travel. And to my extreme left, we have Paul Martin Williams, and he's the CEO of Gladmar Group Limited. So, gentlemen, before I actually talk to you, I just want to remind our viewers, you can who are joining us today, you can join us on Zoom or Scotiabank IG page, which is at Scotiabank Jam. And we invite you to, of course, share your questions with us. We'll try our very best to answer as many questions as possible. But of course, I have to say, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Technology, right, has changed the way how we have lived, how we communicate, how we entertain, and even how we do business. We have seen that, in fact, more than 5 billion persons are using the internet now. And we also recognize that for global e-commerce sales alone, that value this year is $6.1 trillion US, which is about 22%. Philip, that's huge and massive, right? So I want you to tell me, why do you think people are switching to digital sales?
So I think there are multiple factors why persons are switching to digital. I think one of the primary factors is what you mentioned. You mentioned that there are over 5 billion users of the internet worldwide, and accessibility to the internet, accessibility to internet-enabled devices, have, kind of made it more, smart devices are more affordable, they're more accessible. Everyone has one, basically, right? So persons have these devices, they have access to the internet, and now they're looking to leverage the convenience that it provides, right? So instead of picking up the phone to call a company to ask them what services they offer, they now want to go online and see the information. And they want to take it steps further now. After they get the information, they want to be able to just close the transaction immediately, regardless of the time of the night that they're looking on the website. So convenience is driving this, and definitely accessibility to technology and accessibility to the internet.
Okay, thank you, Philip. I'm going to come back to you some follow-up questions,
Sure.
but I want to move on to Chris Carlo. So, Chris Carlo, you are in the business of travel. Mm-hmm. So tell me more. Why did you decide to go into this business, and how is it doing?
Well, actually, I've been traveling my entire life, mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, So this kind of allows me to follow my passion and also do something I love doing every day, But I actually started out doing sales and reservations, and that's how my journey in the travel industry began, And one of the things I love about this industry is it's global. So what that means for a growing business is that you won't necessarily suffer as much from whatever is going on in your local economy. If you're looking at clients everywhere around the world, then the world is 5 billion plus people. You have to think about marketing to 5 billion plus people, not just a couple of people here in Halfway Tree or in Kingston. Right. So when you do things like that, you'll be more prepared for the inevitable, the pandemic came the other day, stuff like that, economic downturns, etc. So that's definitely one of the key reasons why I'm actually in trouble. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I like that. So I have so many questions to come back to you, but let me go over to you, Paul. Paul, tell me, you're in the business of food. Food is what all of us have to survive every day. We love it, right? In fact, when I did some research, it shows that right now the e-commerce for food industry alone in Jamaica is $161 billion. Can you imagine that, right? It's rising, right? So I want you to tell me, why did you choose this area of food?
Well, I became a chef because real school was too hard. So after becoming a chef, I moved back to Jamaica and saw a growing need for health food. So we started a company called the Gourmet Meal Club, and it was catering to people on a daily basis. But then the delivery fees were getting too high. So we switched and went into the Healthy Chef, which is a meal plan service that allows you to order once a week, and you get all your meals one time, and you can eat it on a schedule. And going online has helped us. Our company is about 99% online right now. So we rely on things like Scotiabank and other internet-based services to keep us going. And as you said, the pandemic would hurt, but we don't feel it as much when we are marketing to a global market.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Paul. So I'm going to go back to Philip. Philip, you know, Paul and Pris Carlo shared so many important information about online. I want you to tell me, do you think Jamaica is really caught up with the e-commerce space? Do you see a lot of our customers now going into that?
Yeah, most definitely. We looked at some statistics recently, and we saw that it's projected that by the end of 2023, e-commerce sales would account for $700 million USD of sales in Jamaica alone, right? And the statistics also project that by 2027, this figure will increase to $1 billion approximately. So we're looking at an average growth rate between now and 2027 of just about 12%, right? So there's definitely traction locally in the e-commerce space. We're also seeing this in our own Scotiabank environment, where we are getting queries. The interest is peaked in the market. We have several queries coming from different small businesses and corporate entities about the product and the service. We also are seeing an uptick in terms of the volumes that are being processed by customers that are actually already using the service. So we're definitely seeing a traction in Scotiabank and in the market.
Okay, thank you. Wonderful. So I want to ask you, Chef, right? You know, your industry is quite unique. You said a lot where you said 99% of your business is online. Tell me more about that. How did you make that transition? And, you know, tell me more about the business model.
Well, we had a partner called COVID that helped us make that transition. So because of the pandemic, we had to switch gears, we had to be flexible, we had to not cry anymore and move on. So we decided to go online, boost up our website, and partner with Scotiabank as one of the most trusted names in banking to be able to get it done. So yeah, it's just all about maneuvering how you have to get the customer what they want. So right now you can order 24 hours a day on our website. You can pay 24 hours a day, again, thanks to Scotia. And it allows us to reach a wider range of people. We have people in America, we have people in China that pay for their elderly parents down here through Scotiabank Online. So yeah, I mean, you can't beat it.
Okay, sounds good to me. So let me just go over to Philip. Philip, you know, you mentioned earlier, well, we spoke about the series of e-commerce solution that Scotiabank has to offer, and Paul would have alluded to it earlier about that is being a part of his business model. So, you know, person will be hearing the word eCom Plus. What is that? You know, what are some of the services available in that package that Scotiabank offers now that SMEs would need to capitalize on?
Great. So Scotia eCom Plus is actually the brand that our suite of e-commerce services. You know, it's an umbrella brand for e-commerce services, right? And within Scotia eCom Plus, we have three main services, right? Two of these services facilitate website integration. So by website integration, we mean allowing your customers to go to your website to complete a transaction, right? So we have the hosted payment page, which allows your customer to go to your website, select an item to purchase. Once they select that item and they check out, it redirects them to a page that is hosted through Scotiabank, and the customer can complete their payment. The page redirects them back to the original website, and they're able to, the transaction would have been completed, right? The other option is API integration. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's a little more complex than the hosted payment page. With that option, with the API option, there's no hosting on Scotiabank servers. Everything is hosted on the merchant's web servers, right? So there is a little more development requirement there. There's also additional security requirements in that option as well, right? And then the third option that we provide has no integration involved. Actually, it's one of the most used service, which is the virtual terminal. Our customers really love it. And what the virtual terminal allows you to do with no development effort, once you have an internet-enabled device, once you have access to the internet via a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop, you can generate a payment link and send to your customer wherever they are in the world for them to make a payment to you with any major credit card. Right? So those are the three services in a nutshell. The API integration, the hosted payment page integration, and of course the virtual terminal.
So again, what I want to say to some of our viewers that you may be wondering, how do you actually get set up to use any of these services? It's important to actually have a business banking account with Scotiabank to use as the back-end support for all of these types of transactions. But what I want to find out from you, Philip, before I move over to our other panelists is, how is this different from online, as in the point of sale? Because, you know, people be wondering, you said virtual terminal, make the clarification between that and the physical terminal. What's the difference?
So, I mean, the point of sale terminal is what we refer to as a card present transaction, where the card holder has to be present, and of course the card has to be present to be tapped or swiped or inserted in the point of sale, right? With e-commerce, it's a card not present transaction. So the customer can be anywhere in the world and they're able to process that transaction. There is no requirement for the merchant to see the card or to have the customer come in. So, I mean, Paul gave a good example in terms of a business case that's where, you know, this is very useful. He spoke of persons, you know, being able to maintain their parents while they are overseas by making payments on their behalf for services that he provides. So those are the business cases that help to, you know, drive the usage of the virtual terminal. And I will also add, you mentioned having a Scotiabank account. That is very important. And the settlement actually takes place to the Scotiabank account within 24 hours or next business day.
It really does.
Is completed.
It really does. It's very quick.
Thank you, Paul.
It's very quick.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for that. Chris Carlo, I want to find out, you know, Philip said something about that this is touching people globally. You don't have the physical. So you're in a global competitive industry, as you would have said earlier. And you know that you have to basically make sure your business is sustainable. Can you tell me how has the technology, the e-commerce solutions that you have help you to drive the sales, grow your business? How is that integrated into your whole business model?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was just discussing with Philip a while ago. You know, even 5, maybe 10 years ago, if you were to integrate API into our website, that, I mean, it would be an arm and a leg, you know. And now we have just actually launched a new website called flyway.com, so people will now be able to go online and book travel without even having to call us, you know. So everything is automated now. So, you know, the platform is allowing us to do something like that, to compete globally, you know. And yeah, it's really a heaven sent, because there's no way a growing business like us would be able to compete in that manner if we didn't have a tool like that, you know. And the integration time was very quick, very easy. Our developers are actually, I don't know, halfway across the world, and, you know, it was that we had no issues with the integration, and that is unheard of, you know. So I'm really, really impressed with the integration and the service, the tool, everything. The setup was really impressive.
So, you know, you met to the average person, you're talking about API, all these fancy words that they cannot relate to. So let me just take it into the simple terms, right? You are a SME, and you're now in travel industry, and you're saying pretty much what you have done is you have a website, and with the website, you're now able to ensure that your business is incorporated. Just explain what is this, the main thing that any SME should take into consideration when going into something like what you just mentioned? Well,
keep in mind that, you know, if you look at the direction that all industries are going, you know, it's technology driven. So the pandemic has taught us that, you know, we need to be ready for the curve. So no matter what kind of business you have right now, to everybody in Jamaica right now, you need to think about how you're going to integrate technology into your business so you can now sell globally. If we can do that, then we won't necessarily have to worry too much about what's going on locally. It's going to ease the economy. It's going to put more money in your pockets as well, you know. So I think my advice to everybody out there is look at the business that you're in, you know, call Philip and see how you can get the integration done. Yeah,
Yeah, Paul, you see like you want to add.
Yeah,
Yes, so
just to add
share
something.
yours, right.
When you integrate and you go online, it makes a small business feel like a big business.
Right.
And that is very important for entrepreneurs' confidence, for them seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, because it's not easy some days, but when you push through it, you will get the rewards at the end. And with Scotiabank helping you out, you don't have to put an arm and a leg out to start. You can start with very little and feel like a big business, and that is very important to us.
Yes, critical.
Yes.
So you were before, you had a brick and mortar kind of concept.
We did.
And then now you have 99%
99% online.
So tell me, like in terms of, percentage, what's the difference you've seen in your sales?
So we have gone up by about 45% since we integrated the virtual terminal.
Wow.
Because a lot of people see Scotiabank come up with the link and they trust it. And that is very important. You still have the holdouts that like the card machine, right, Philip? And we do accommodate them because we have a Scotiabank point-of-sales machine as well for those people. And we just want to give options. We don't want you to have any excuse why you don't have our service, why you don't have his service. As I said, Philip's cell phone number is, no, I'm just kidding, I'm not going to give it out. But just call Philip's, call Scotiabank, and they'll set you up. And it don't matter how small you are, just get an account at Scotia and go from there. Sky's the limit.
Right. So, I want to ask you, gentlemen, running an SME is not easy at all, right? It's and to manage, even navigate, having an e-commerce strategy is even another component to your business. I want to know from you, Priscarlo, how have you maintained being competitive, still being viable, and, always thinking ahead, how to stay on top of your game? How do you do that?
Well, as I said before, it's technology. We have been around for just over a decade. So now we are competing with people who've been around for 40 years, 30, 40, 50 years, who, they're established in the marketplace, they have their core customers and all this other stuff. So if we want to survive, we have to have a leg up in some kind of way. We have to use digital marketing, we have to use platforms like eCom, and try to just do more with less, because it's very costly, especially traditional marketing and, just everything traditional in terms of your business model, it costs a lot more. So if we're going to stimulate the economy, especially as growing businesses, it's the way to go. You have to integrate, and so you can move forward.
Okay. Very good. Philip, coming over to you now from the other side. So what do you see are some of the pain points or challenges for SMEs in making the transition into digital sales?
So, so some of the pain points that we see that brings merchants or our customers into digital sales to begin with are typically what Paul and Priscilla had mentioned, not having the ability to extend your services to have a wider scope for your services, right? We have customers who they want to do transactions with customers overseas, and the only option that's available to them are wire transfer options, and that comes with cost to the customer. So provisions such as the virtual terminal, such as e-commerce on a whole, definitely adds to the flavor of the merchants' offerings and allows them to be able to, offer their services on a wider scale.
Okay, sounds good, excellent. So, Priscarlo, what I want to know is, you're seeing that a lot of companies, not only in your space, but you're seeing globally, recognizing the value of going digital, being online. What would you say are like probably the 3 or 5 main benefits that you see for customers choosing this option as a strategy in their business?
Okay, well, so we are open 24/7, for instance.
Right.
So that means we have to be ready at any point in time to serve our customers. So the e-commerce platform, it allows a fraud-free way of doing the transactions. We don't even need to have your card information, So all we need is your billing information, minimal information. We send you a link, you do the payment within whatever time you choose, And it's really that simple, you know. I think customers are also able to reach us at any time. We have people who, you know, maybe they're not available during work hours to come into office, but we can set up a consultation over the phone. You can call 9 o'clock. We can do the transaction right there. So yeah, there's many benefits that our customers get. It also costs them less as well, you know. So, you know, if let's say you're overseas and you needed to pay for something right now, you don't have to worry about any wire transfer fees. You don't have to worry about sending it to a family member for them to come in and all this other stuff. We can get right to it, you know. So
that sounds very good. That actually this platform allows you to, from anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. I said no wire transfer. It's a direct payment, and you're able to transact your business.
Right.
It's very good. Paul, food industry, right? Lots of trends that you're seeing happening globally in this space, and with all of what you're seeing, you know, you have a business for how many years have you mentioned again?
About 12 officially.
Right.
But we started early as a cottage industry, unregistered.
Right.
we had to register.
It's about 12 years,
Yeah.
right? Now tell me, looking at your business now and with the trends, how is your business scalable, or how is it in comparison to what you know the trends are from a e-commerce standpoint?
So my stress level dictates how I scale my business. If it's too stressful, I just ease it. No. Again, just accessibility to the world. You know, there is no limit to where you can go with this. And I play a percentage game. If I can reach 10% and I get 1%, that's good. If I can reach 50% and still get 1%, that's great. So just the e-commerce thing just makes you get to everybody. Like, I mean, you heard what I said about Michael Jordan back in the day. Everybody in the world knew you. Everybody in the world knew the internet. So
right.
It's, you know, it's not a secret anymore. It's out.
Right. You know, what I also probably want to ask is entrepreneurs always have challenge with managing their finances, right? Because you want to keep track of your sales.
Right.
Want to keep track of, you know, what your expenses are every month, etc. And with using these online options, how has that helped your business in becoming, you're able to manage your operation? How has that been for you?
Well, I was actually really surprised at how simple the layout was. You know, when you look at the setup, you can go in, you can search, you know, you can set your criteria, and, you know, no matter when you made that sale, you can find it, you can track it, and you could do receipts, you could do all your accounting in one place, you know, and no matter what accounting software you're using, you can always, you know, plug it into it. Integration, as I said, is really seamless, you know, so. Yeah, it's
Or you could get married and have your wife track it.
that too.
That's what I do.
So Paul, that sounds like the old way.
That's what
And
I
Chris
do.
Carla is doing the more
That's what I do.
right? Advanced way. But Philip, I want you probably just to emphasize that, you know, you see and hear customers all the time talk about their challenges, and now having, you know, have these solutions to help them to manage their business more effectively. What are you seeing? What's the feedback like from the customers about that?
Yeah, so to add to what Prishkala said, because I think what Prishkala was alluding to was the reporting feature that we offer within the virtual terminal. So regardless of the method of integration that you choose, if it's the payment gateway integration or the virtual terminal, we give you access to an administration portal that allows you to go in and just see all the transactions that were completed. Actually, there's a line item for every activity that's done on the platform. So if you generate a payment URL, there's a line item for that. If a transaction was declined, you see a line item for that, as well as a successful transaction, right? So all the activity is tracked and logged in the platform, right? And you're also able to download a report in Excel CSV format, and CSV is a popular format. So you're able to download the report in that format, and you can use it for whatever insights you want to gather. If you have 1 million transactions, you can run a pivot table in Excel, or you can import it to your accounting platform to get whatever insights you want about how your business is performing. Within the platform as well, there's the ability to view charts, etc., so that you can see, you know, you can get performance insights from that as well. So it definitely allows the customer to be able to track what they're doing, how their business is performing on a daily basis, on a weekly or monthly basis, regardless of the frequency that you want to track. So it does offer that level of efficiency. You can make decisions based on what you're seeing from the numbers and from the reports, right? So it's definitely a value add for all our customers who use it.
Wow, that sounds like really good for any customer. I mean, anybody who is actually listening, you should be excited to just hear about how your business can actually change. And you don't have to worry about you're still an accountant, but you don't have to worry about, okay, what receipt I have over here, how am I tracking my sales?
Correct.
Everything is in all one place. You can get your charts, you can see everything. That actually sounds like the best thing for any entrepreneur, right?
Right.
Okay, so Pris Carlo, I always like to talk about entrepreneurs and to find out really behind their story and just to see, how their story can help to inspire or to change, someone who may be aspiring to be in your own industry. So you've been in this, you said, over a decade, and you seem very young, right? So I want you to share with, entrepreneurs who may be thinking like yourself, you said you started juggling your 9-to-5 job, doing this. How can they transition, or what advice can you give to those persons who need to know, okay, I am here, I have all these ideas, but I don't know where to go, what's my next step? How did you do it? Share that with them.
Well, to be an entrepreneur is really something that comes from within you first. I can't stress that, everybody's path is very different. So I'm not going to sit up here and tell you do X, Y, Z, and then it's going to actually happen that way. His story is different. Your story, everybody's story is going to be different. What ties us together, or what we have in common, is just hard work and keeping at it. You don't just lay down and it happens. You do actually have to pay attention to trends. So like when we're here talking about eCom, it's a trend. It's where it's going. It's there now. So. My number one advice to people is really just follow your passion, yes, but try to stay ahead of the curve, and just remember that everybody's journey is different. Just stay on your path. Don't watch anybody else. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it will happen eventually.
And it don't come overnight, right?
Please, no. Yeah.
Everybody think you just have an idea and boom, tomorrow. No, it's not like that. You have to put the work in.
Right.
Then you have to have a good support network.
Very important.
Tell me about that,
Yeah,
more about that.
I mean, if it's your parents, if it's Scotia Bank, if it's a good friend,
Right.
you have to have a support network, because there are going to be things you just don't know. Nobody's born to be an entrepreneur. As he said, it's inside of you. And just one day you get up and you're like, you know what? I don't want to work 9 to 5. I want to work 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whatever. And then you do your own thing. But at the beginning, it is more than 9 to 5. It's a lot of work, and you need that group. Maybe a significant other, maybe a mom or dad, maybe a mentor from school, an ex-teacher. But just somebody to get you over those little humps that we all face, that you're like, boy, today I don't feel like going. But you realize you have to, because you're the head cook and bottle washer. If you don't go in, it's done. It crash.
But you actually gave a very good, we were talking earlier, you mentioned about you actually own the business, but you're not fully in the business. You actually have persons who are able to execute on your plan or your vision. How did you achieve that?
About 7 years of training.
So tell us what.
So I had some staff before COVID, and some of them were just like on it, like amazing people from the beginning. And I was like, no matter what happens with COVID, I'm going to keep you, and I hope you come be part of my family. And so said, so done. And I just trained them, and I treated them with the utmost respect. They gave me back, and we just became a team. They don't work for me anymore. They work with me. Right, and they work the company to grow the company. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't have, the other companies we do. We wouldn't be able to be on this platform today. So big up to my staff. I mean, without them, and I'm sure you guys know, without support staff, there's nothing. So,
nothing.
Yeah, there's
absolutely.
Nothing.
That's so good. Excellent.
Yeah,
Pris Carlo, you need to share we were talking also, and you had mentioned about, one of your thing being a leader in your company is how you set certain standards to measure, success. and you mentioned about sales, etc. So share some light with entrepreneurs who are listening. What are some of those standards that you set so that your staff can help you to buy into the bigger vision of even growing the business online because of that's what you're in?
Mm-hmm. Well, we were just talking about, what entrepreneurs need to know starting out. I think if, let's say you're starting out from zero, from nothing, you have to do something to first prove to yourself that your vision is actually true. What have you done to prove to yourself that this is true? How have you manifested that? If you can make yourself a believer, then you can make the next person to you a believer. And then that's how it grows. So that's how you create your support system. Then you end up having a business now where you have one customer, they turn into two. You just have to grow it. And you do that by focusing on, customer service and quality. So that's a really big thing for us. And I try to show my staff that within everything that we do every day, within the team, within the business, and we try to, pass that on to our customers as well. So that's a guiding principle with us.
That's very good. You also, I remember, off here we had so many great conversations, right? And I just want to pull them up because I believe it will be of value to our viewers who are watching today. Tell me, you're sharing a story about a customer that you literally had to turn away because of, so tell me some more insight about that, why, you have your company values, you know what you want. And as entrepreneurs, sometimes we may also be afraid to take certain steps, but it may be in the best interest of our company. So share with me that that story. Right.
We've had so many roadblocks. I remember because of the business that we're in, it's internet heavy. It's digital heavy. So we had a client who contacted us who, again, eCom allows us to serve our customers in any which way they want. So now we had a client who contacted us. It's one of my best clients from a long time ago. I ended up dealing not with him, but with his accountant. So I don't know what happened. The accountant took it over, and he was like, "Oh no, this is how we're gonna pay it." And I was like, "Okay, I don't have this set up. I'm not ready yet." And it was one of the biggest things that would have happened to me, and I lost it. Why? Because we didn't have something like eCom set up. So when that happened, I was like, I definitely need to, get it done. I spoke to my bank manager, and it took a while, but yeah, we are now in a position where we can serve any customer anywhere in the world, and I kind of just look at it as part of the process, the getting there, So that's kind of a bad story turned into.
No, but that's good. That's excellent. Now you are actually competing with the big boys,
right?
Because you now have everything to make your business fully functional.
Exactly.
And that's part of the journey to being an entrepreneur. We have to know that a lot of times it will not be. In fact, I believe that every mistake or challenge is an opportunity for growth and development for your company, right? A lot of us sometimes may be afraid to really make that leapfrog into something, but that's, as in your case, it turned out to be a great opportunity. Now you have a full suite of services, and they can pay you virtually via the terminal, or they can pay straight from your website, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And we paid one price. I didn't even remember what we paid. It wasn't anything great. It wasn't a big expense, and it gives you access to the entire suite. So you pay one price, and you're in with whatever level of integration.
Imagine when you just started, how much that would have cost.
My God. Would have been an arm and a leg.
Arm and a leg, right?
Anybody can get into it, which is awesome.
But that has said a lot about the world.
Awesome.
The world has changed significantly. You recognize that everything is now moving into a seamless process. And if you really don't get with the times being an entrepreneur, you're going to have the challenges with remain viable and competitive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you definitely have to move with the times and ensure that what you're doing, your business, can take anything. And the pandemic has shown us, right, a lot of us, that digital is the way to go. In fact, Paul, you were even saying that your sales, you actually don't even call it cash.
No, we are cash free now.
You're cash-free?
Cash-free now.
So
no more
everything is
cash.
paid online?
Everything is paid online and through the virtual terminal and card machine. But yeah, we haven't collected cash for maybe a year and a half now.
So let me just understand the markets that you serve. So is it just, so how many markets you can recall based on where, since having fully online that you serve now?
We serve the entire Jamaica.
Entire Jamaica?
The entire from Negril, Hanover, right to...
So do you have customers from outside of Jamaica?
We have customers. They don't collect the food. They just buy
it
for Jamaican, because we have quite a few in old age homes, if you know what that is. And their kids are away. So they buy it up there, go online any time of day, pay any time of day, and the food just goes and it just magically appears at the parents' house,
Okay, wonderful. So Philip, I want to go on a, I know we've been talking about digital sales, but we can also not talk about AI a little bit, right? That's a very important thing in this space. What's your view now with us having this integrated model, with now AI coming to be a real rapid force for SMEs? How do you see that SMEs need to be prepared for this?
Well, I think SMEs need to look at ways that AI can be used to their advantage, right? So it's when you think about AI, I remember when ChatGPT just came out and people saw conversations happening with robots, everybody got scared, right? And we hear conversations about children using AI to write essays for them in school. But AI is also a great enabler for businesses. So for example, Prescarlo's website that is integrated with our payment gateway. Maybe a customer may go on and they may have a question. Prescarlo can have an AI in the background responding to these questions that program the robot. The customer can go and ask about the services, ask about the opening hours, ask about the product that you provide in order to make a more informed decision. And just as how you can have a conversation with ChatGPT, this customer will be on Prescarlo's website having a conversation with a robot, albeit, but definitely they are getting the information that they need to make their decisions. So definitely, I would say that AI must be used to your advantage, leverage the technology that's available. Don't be scared of it. Do your research and see how it can benefit you.
I want a robot. I'll take one.
Yes, I've seen a lot of global companies. In fact, when we want to improve services or to roll out even a new product, managing the back-end process, we've used bots. And these bots has helped to kind of taken out so if it was a 5-hour process, with the bot, it's like an hour process. So I've seen how that has really benefited companies. And I'm sure that's the same thing where, as you had mentioned, SMEs can do that. What are your views?
Well, I think maybe in my position, a lot of people would think, okay, this is going to take a lot of money out of our pockets. I think it's very important to look at how we can put money back in, So, look at it as having additional staff. Don't look at it as somebody who's going to, or something that's going to move your business out of the space. Look at it as something where you can now become more efficient, use it to your advantage. I think in our case, we intend to use it to, customize people's vacation a little bit more, get more information on where they want to go, stuff like that, So
insights.
So we're looking to see how we can integrate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Paul, I want to find out what are some of the main challenges that you probably face with, I would say, running your business and even with customer transitioning to appreciating the digital sales, digital platform as part of your method of operation?
I'd say it's more the older generation that still believe in cash on the mattress kind of thing. But as I said earlier, that once a Scotiabank tag is attached to it and they get redirected to the Scotiabank site, the trust builds a lot quicker. But I haven't seen much issues with people jumping on board. I mean, my 92-year-old grandmother has her cards, and she Amazons her way to, she just goes. She doesn't go to shopping anymore, and so I mean, it's for everybody. My son has a Wealth Builder card, and he's 10. And he can't use it much, but he can save on it much, But it gives them, because you have to get them ready for it. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to get more advanced and keep going. And if you don't get ready for it. You're going to be out of the space, and somebody's going to come and take over, and you'll be done. And
What about you, Prince Carlo?
Yeah.
The challenges for you in particular that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I remember he was talking, and I was just remembering last week we had an older gentleman come in, and he wanted to make a payment, and he kept arguing that you guys need to get a card machine. You need to, and then I had to kind of like calm him down and say, no, this is actually a more fraud-free way. People are complaining that. Or we've seen these news reports, obviously, where people go somewhere and there's, I don't know what you call them, the little skimmers or whatever, that steal people's information. You don't have that problem anymore, So once I explained that to him, he leveled out very quickly and just, so part of it is really educating not only our customers, but we also educate our staff as well so they can pass the word on to people. And it's a part of our sales process now, so yeah.
That's very, very critical. I actually want to talk about that. When you mentioned fraud, I wanted to talk about that because a lot of customers are scared with making that. They believe that doing business online is actually more risky than doing in a brick and mortar, right? And we've seen that that's quite the reverse, that you can actually get. So I want to say, maybe from Paul's perspective, what advice would you have to SMEs who are persons maybe thinking of owning their own business, but they're scared about making that leapfrog to digital because of fear, maybe of fraud or misconception about what will happen? What's your advice?
Educate your staff. That is 100% accurate. Educate your staff. Have them knowing it inside out. So if you are confident, if your staff is confident in the product and you know it, you portray that to the customer. And all it takes is one to jump over, and then it starts falling like dominoes. Everybody starts to come because we love to talk, and we'll spread the good news, so.
Right. I think education is actually a very important thing when I'm thinking about it now. I think I had a head start because for so many years I was dealing with people around the world who already had credit cards and the different types of credit cards, and not even every credit card is operating like a traditional credit card. People don't know these things. There's so many things to know. So, in training our staff, I think it's important that we sensitize people to how credit cards work so that when they have their cards, they can use it with confidence and know what is a scam from what is not, and just to be more safe.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Each credit card works differently.
Very different.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So Philip, you share your insight,
Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty, pleased with the insight that Paul and Prishkala shared because a lot of merchants, take that responsibility away from themselves and they look to the bank to provide ways to mitigate fraud. But there are so many methods that merchants themselves can implement within their own environment to, combat fraud and to mitigate the risk of having fraudulent transactions. In addition to those methods, though, as a bank, we do have fraud mechanisms in place for the cards that we issue as well as for our platform to ensure that, possible fraudulent transactions are triggered and they are alerted and they are stopped where possible, right? We also, from a payment gateway perspective, we have several fraud rules, thousands of rules in the back end that are enacted each time a transaction is done. And so triggers are very reliable, and they do happen. We have customers who call us to let us know, oh, my transaction has been blocked. What is the reason? And we look into it, and we're able to, say that, this could have been a fraudulent transaction. And we're trying to protect our merchants and our customers, right? So we have those measures, and there's also measures in place from the card network. So Visa, MasterCard, American Express, they have put in place 3D security, 3DS2, which is now, our platform is 3DS2 enabled. And what 3DS2 does is allow that each time a transaction, well, not each time a transaction is done, but for transactions that are triggered in the back end, it requests a one-time password from the card holder. And that one-time password is sent to the email address that is in the bank system for that card holder. right? So once that one-time password is entered, it is fair to say that the cardholder is the one who has authenticated that transaction, right? If in the odd event that the cardholder is not the one who has authenticated that transaction, then the liability is on the bank and not the merchant in terms of, resolving and dealing with the consequences of that transaction. So we do have multiple measures in place where fraud is concerned. So transactions online are extremely safe. So I would say customers really do not have much to worry about.
And in 6 years, I've never had a problem with Scotia.
Excellent.
6
You've
years.
never had a problem?
Never had one issue with fraud.
That
Excellent.
is
6
excellent.
years, thousands of transactions, not one problem.
Awesome.
Wow. I love to hear that.
So our mechanisms are working.
They are.
Clearly.
Okay, this is very good. So, gentlemen, I think I want to ask, I've asked you somewhat indirectly before, but I want you to probably give me from a personal perspective now, in terms of advice. The market, the world is global. It's, as we say, the world is your oyster, right? And a lot of SMEs want to make that bold step and transition into, like Pris Carlo now, competing with all these other major global travel agency. And now he has this, what is it,
Flyway.com.
Flyway.com, where, persons now can just go on his website and book their flights. You are in Jamaica, persons can stay from California or even from China and order things for their parents here or their family members, whoever they want here. Now, looking at that, I think looking at that for 2 years ago, we would never imagine anything, or even like 5 years ago, that this would ever happen, right? So I want you to share some advice with, as business owners, to other entrepreneurs who are looking, the forward thinking. How do you encourage, or what do you have to share with them that they need to embrace this so that their company can now be competitive globally? Advice?
Well, I think in any market space, you have to look at how you're going to be unique. What is going to be different about your service, and make sure you follow that through, from day to day within the office, working within the team, what you portray to your customers in your product, your services, So, I think if you start there and just think about what's always going to make you stand out and be different. Very important number that Casey had brought up was looking at the global market, it being trillions of dollars. All you need is a percent or a 0.001% of 6 trillion or a trillion. How much is that?
Enough.
Enough.
So when you think of it in terms of that, you're ahead of the game already. All you have to do is put your product out there, and just like I said, keep working at it. So that's really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over to you, Paul.
Well, he just stole my answers. But no, just to expound on it a little bit more, from the personal point of view, as 20-somethings or 30-something or 40-something year old, whenever you decide that entrepreneurism is your ticket to your dreams, don't be afraid to fail. It's going to come. It's going to come many times. If you get knocked down 9, get up 10, and just keep going. And the uniqueness of your product needs to shine through. You need to put the work in. And just think of it as a house. Build a house first and then go live in it after. Don't try and build and live same time. Build it up. Once it's nice and where you want, then go and live in it. Other than that, you're not going to succeed. And again, support, partnership with great organizations, coming on live TV with beautiful women, all of that helps too. But yeah, man, just keep your dream alive, keep going for what you want, and passion is a big, big motivator. It will drive you to be the king of your universe, and that's all we can all hope for.
Okay. I know you're not an entrepreneur, Philip, but you certainly have worked with so many. So what's your advice?
Right. I'd just piggyback on what Paul mentioned in terms of partnership, right? So, Scotiabank, we're here. We're at your fingertips. We have a full team ready to serve you. One of the things that we do for each customer that comes to us and they say they want to get into e-commerce, we have a sit-down conversation with them and we talk about, what works best for you. We try to understand your business model, your operating model, see, would the virtual terminal be a good fit? Would the hosted payment page or API integration be a good fit, and we try to walk you through the journey, right? And I know we're talking predominantly about e-commerce now, but we have other solutions such as mobile point of sale, which we can determine that's a better fit for you based on your business model, right? We have integrated point of sale as well. So we have a number of solutions that we're able to offer to our customers. So partnership is key. Come in and talk to us, and we can definitely get you started.
Excellent. So now we're going to move over to our viewers that may have questions for us. So I'm going to look for the first question. So the first question that I have is, what is the best way for business that is typically considered a social enterprise to integrate technology? So a social enterprise company, pretty much they tend to always do it because of impact, social impact. How would you, what's your advice for them to integrate technology into their business? Anybody wants to take that?
But it sounds like, it's a business that's going to impact people's lives directly. Sounds like maybe like a charity or something.
Right.
So again, that now is, with that you're looking at community. You're looking at the support of a wider audience of people. So again, a platform like this is going to help you to reach people like that. You need a website. You need to have the integration done to reach people. And, with the right reporting, you can show them what it is that they're supporting. So again, technology is the way forward. Speak to people like Philip who can help show you the way forward and how you can put two and two together and make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, another question that we have. So I'm not sure who I'm going to throw. So it's anyone can actually accept the question, right? The next question is, can you share one story about how you have reached more persons or larger volume?
Again,
Yes.
just to repeat it, technology people, you have to be on top of your technology game. You have to know where the trends are going, keep active in the universe, know everything that's going on. Information is power, and the more information you have, the more power you have. We can reach everybody. We really can. And you just need to know, as was mentioned, talk to somebody like Philip. Let him guide you. You don't know everything. None of us know everything. But we know enough to get to certain places, and then we'll meet people along the way to help us get further. So technology, technology, technology.
All right.
And I just want to add, just kind of look at who's in your space. If you are here as a small business, look at who's here, who's in the top of your industry, and think about what you're going to have to do to get there, and then, as we said before, just implement.
That's very key. So make sure you have you have to clear objectives and a plan as to how you can get there. I like that. Let me see if we have any more questions. Tell us what the question I have from IG. It says, what is the maintenance cost for this platform? Philip, that sounds like you.
Well, interestingly, we don't have a maintenance cost per se. So once you're onboarded with us and you're having issues, you can definitely call our team. We're available by phone, by email. Most customers have our direct bank phone numbers, so they can call us for assistance if needed. So we don't have a maintenance cost. We're available to our customers.
In other words, hurry up before them decide to stop paying to make charging them for this thing. Yeah? Right.
Oh, please, Carla, wow.
Hurry up.
All right, do we have another question? All right, so the other question that I have for you, and I guess we'll decide who will take that question. So the question is coming from Zoom. How quick is the process from application to get it?
Right, so I think that's me. So, we have a very seamless application process. So once a customer goes online, comes to us and they complete the documentation, we have a process on the back end where we process your application, generate merchant IDs for us, because what you're doing is opening a merchant account with Scotiabank, right? So we generate your merchant IDs, and that is normally available to you within a week to a week and a half, right? Or 1 to 2 weeks. Once that process is completed for the virtual terminal, we give you access to the platform after that 2-week period, and it can be shorter, but we give you access to the platform and you can start transacting immediately with the virtual terminal with just a username and a password. For the integration options, though, it's a little more complex. So once we give you the credentials for integration, then you have to work with your developer to complete the process, and that depends on the time frame in which your developer can complete it. I mean, perhaps Chris Carla can speak to what his experience was, because he has a development team across the world who, we would have had to work with very closely to complete that integration, and it was done in record timing. Very capable developers that he had. So it depends on the capability of a developer and, of course, their bandwidth to complete it once we provide information.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is important to ensure that you have a developer, you have the systems in place, so that will determine how quick the entire process will take, because they can be able to walk through it with the technical team, what all the transaction or the seamless integration takes place. All right, excellent. So we have another question. How do you convince your customers to pay online with card information?
Yeah, that's a big one. You do buck up some people that are hesitant. I think it was Tuesday. I actually had to phone back a customer personally and speak to her and tell her it's with Scotiabank, explain to her that when she goes to the supermarket or the ATM, it's probably not even as safe as the online payment method, with Scotiabank. And then she finally said, oh, yeah, I'm like, you use your card every day? This is with Scotiabank, it's safe. And she made her payment and she's happy. And again, no issues. 6 years still running, no issues. So, But yeah, just build a trust and just explain to them, that it works, and there are systems in place to reconcile if it does not.
Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions right now. So I actually we have one more question. So, okay, the last question that we have here, it's, if I have a point of sale machine, do I need Scotia eCom Plus?
So, I mean, we've had customers who started using the virtual terminal, and they've come to us to say, all right, take by the point of sale machine, because this is working perfectly for us. So it's a decision that you will have to make based on your business model. Depending, do you have customers walking in on a rapid, where you have to service them very quickly? You might want to have a point of sale so you can swipe and get them out. Or if you have more customers who are processing transactions remotely in card not present type of ways, those customers would benefit more from a virtual terminal scenario. So, I mean, it's a decision that you'll have to make based on your business model, how you interact with your customers and how your customers transact with you. And definitely we're here to support you in making that decision.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, can you believe? They say when you're having fun, time flies, right? It's actually, we're at the end of today's. It means we've been having a very good conversation, right? So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share your story, valuable insights with us. But I also want to share with our viewers before we go, just leaving a few tips based on our conversation. And I want to say the first one is, if you're an SME, set clear objectives. Your objectives should help you in determining what if you want to integrate e-commerce as part of your strategy, and also outline how will you go about achieving that. That's very, very important. It's important to know whether you want to use e-commerce, whether to improve your sales, to enhance your customer experience, or even if it's just to expand your market reach, right? The other thing is knowing your target audience. You both spoke to that earlier. When you understand your target audience and know their preferences, their pain points, their online behavior, then you're able to create solutions to address their needs. Again, choose the right e-commerce platform. And I'm going to tell you have to choose eCom Plus, of course. But when you're choosing the right e-commerce platform, you need to ensure that you take into consideration scalability, security. You have to ensure that it's the ease and the use of access for you and also for your customers, right? And important as SMEs, you need to integrate your offline and your online strategies. So as Paul would have said earlier, he had a brick and mortar before, and now he has moved into having an online strictly solution. Ensure that you integrate so wherever your customers are, they're able to do business seamlessly. And of course, you have to stay competitive as a SME. And what that means, pretty much, you have to ensure that you have the right strategy to remain viable globally, as we're talking about earlier. Keep it ahead of the game, know what is best for you, and implement. Customer support. You have to have the right strategy to support your customers. You know, at the end of the day, the customer is what really make your business. If you're not offering good service to ensure that they can come back to you, you have to ensure that you look at what's the best strategy and implement how to address those. And of course, you have to be adaptable as a business owner, be flexible, and also take feedback. And of course, I'm not going to leave by saying you have to speak with someone who knows about the business. So that's whether it's a business banker, or in our case, you can speak with Philip, who actually is a part of the global banking transaction team. But we're here to help you to find the solutions to ensure that your business is successful. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today for another Scotia Live, and stay tuned again to see us next week.
Hi, my name is Rashid Johns, Assistant Manager, Global Transaction Banking. Today, I'm here to introduce to you Scotia eCom Plus, Scotiabank's new e-commerce service that was launched in 2022. Scotia eCom Plus is a suite of 3 e-commerce solutions that includes our virtual terminal, hosted payment page, and web services API solutions. The virtual terminal allows merchants to accept payments remotely by generating a payment link to send to their customers anywhere in the world. The hosted payment page and web services API solution provides integration capabilities allowing merchants to accept payments via their website. Scotiabank now allows the merchant to benefit from payment gateway and merchant services, giving our customers a single point of contact, which allows for faster, easier, and convenient e-commerce service. Before the launch of this product, merchants had to engage multiple third-party providers in order to receive e-commerce services. Our merchants are now able to expand their customer base, increasing their local and global footprint by conducting transactions over a fully secure e-commerce platform. Let me now show you how easy it is to use our virtual terminal. After signing in, you will select Generate Payment URL. Enter the payment URL expiry date and time, the order details, and then proceed to the customer details section. Here, you will enter the information for your customer, select Submit, review the information on the screen to ensure that you have the correct payment amount and name, and then confirm. Once you have confirmed the payment, a payment URL will be generated that you can copy and paste and email to your clients. Hi, good day. Rashid Johns, Assistant Manager for the Global Transaction Banking team. We recently launched Scotia eCom Plus, a new online payment gateway that allows businesses, big and small, to sell or market their products to customers all over the world. Follow me as I check in on one of our first customers to use the product.
My name is Judith James Watts. I'm the Managing Director for Leisure for Pleasure Holidays and Tours Limited. We are a travel agency and a tour company, licensed through the Jamaica Tourist Board and TPDCO. We have been using Scotia eCom Plus since January of 2022. First of all, it is very easy to use. My staff love it. The customers, they love it.
The Scotia eCom Plus platform was quite easy and straightforward to use. When the Scotia rep came in, everybody thought it was a quick process. Everything went smoothly. We were so happy we finally received a quick and easy platform to use. The staff thought it was amazing. It reduced the number of walk-ins that were coming in office, and it increased security for our clients because they don't have to send us their physical card, a copy of their card, or any of their personal information, just the basic details to put in the platform. Send them a link, they do the payment and send it back to us, easy as can be.
So we had a lot of persons who, out of fear, did not book with us. But now with Scotia eCom Plus, that fear has been removed. So we have now really gotten increased business due to the platform being in place.
One of my major tasks is to have the reports out. And trust me, it was just a touch of a button. You could do them by order, by transaction summary. You could get it done by a credit card batch, or you could get charts. And so it was just an easy flow for me. So I really, really like the system.
I would definitely recommend Scotia eCom Plus. It is safe, cost-effective, and convenient. That's the way to go.